Om Shanti. We were listening to a very deep, beautiful song from Baba's Rosary. It, the song spoke about I, the soul, becoming a swan. That's the whole focus of today's Murli, where Baba is telling us the specialities of Holy Swan, is distinguishing for us the difference between pearls and pebbles, and a very deep understanding of two specific powers, that is, power to discern and power to decision making. So let's read this fully together, which is dated 10th of January 1990. Essence of the Murli is the specialities of holy swans. Today, Bagdada, the one who makes all souls special, is seeing the specialities of each holy swan. A swan has the special powers of discernment and recognition. Therefore, it also has the special power of being able to imbibe and so is able to recognize both the stone and the pearl. It then discriminates between the two and imbibes the pearl. It sets aside the pebbles, the stones, because of having the specialities of all three powers: the power to recognize, to decide, and to adapt, that is, to imbibe. The confluence aged Mother Saraswati has been shown riding a swan. It is not a memorial of just the Mother Saraswati, but also of you are also the ones who become like the mother and play the veena, that's musical instrument. What's the veena all about that Saraswati plays? This veena of knowledge. In order to imbibe this knowledge, all of these three specialities are very essential. When all of you adapted the Brahmin life, you first had recognition on the basis of the power of recognition through knowledge and through your understanding. What did you do? You recognized yourself, the time, your Brahmin family, and your elevated task. Only after having discerned this did you adapt the Brahmin life. You discerned that this is the same unlimited Father, the supreme soul of the previous cycle, and of your being an elevated soul of the previous cycle, a soul who has a right. After discerning this, you took a decision. Without recognizing the Father, you are not able to decide. Some souls who are still in relationship and contact continue to say, this is very good, this is very good. But because they neither have the recognition of God nor the power of discernment. They are unable to decide what they have to become and what they have to do. This is why they are unable to adapt the Brahmin life. They become cooperative, but they are unable to create an easy yogi life because they do not have the two powers that have just been mentioned. This is why they are unable to become holy swans. They do not consider purity, the form of pearls, to be distinct from impurity, the form of pebbles. And this is why they are unable to have the power to imbibe purity. So, the speciality of holy swans is firstly to have the power of discernment, that is, of recognition. Do all of you holy swans have both these powers? You have recognized Baba, you have recognized yourself, and you have taken an accurate decision. And this is why you have become Brahmins and are moving forward. All of you have definitely passed in this. However, there should be the experience of success in every action in the service you do and the actions you perform in the actions of your whole timetable throughout the day and when you come into relationship and connection. The souls who come into connection should experience success in the relationship with you. There should constantly be the experience of success in every type of service you do, whether it is through the mind, words, or actions. The basis of this is the powers of discriminate and decision making. Have you fully passed in this? The next para of the Murli speaks about checking ourselves on various parameters as to are we fully passed in this, the power of discernment and decision making. Check the reasons for not being constantly successful in service and relationships. So, there is a difference in having the power to discern the task, the person, and the soul. There is a difference in having the power to dis- discern the task, the person, and the soul. If your power of discernment is sharp at the time when a soul needs cooperation in a certain way, or if he needs certain instructions, or he needs love, you would definitely be able to achieve success in that relationship. However, what happens is that because you neither discern nor give the type of cooperation or the method needed at that time, but you give him cooperation according to your own way, or you adapt your own method, there isn't success in the form of contentment. For instance, what happens when a doctor does not know the way to diagnose your physical illness? Instead of your getting well, there are many other illnesses created from that one illness. The patient does not receive the success in the form of contentment. In simple words, Babdada says, recognize each one's pulse. It is necessary for you to move along and make others move along too. What will you have to do? You have to increase the power to recognize, that is, the power to discern. There's a difference in this. In simple words, you say that there is a difference in the handling. This one's handling is the old way, that is, one's handling is the new way. Why is there this difference? It is because you need to have the power to discern each soul and each task at every moment. On the whole, you have the power to discern, but there is still a need for detailed and unlimited power of discernment. How much power to imbibe does the soul have at that moment? What is the atmosphere like? What is the mood of the soul when listening or taking instructions? If someone who has a weak body is given an injection of maximum strength, what would happen? Instead of being a patient, he would become patient's state of stillness. The heart would fail, would it not? He would go into silence. Similarly, if a soul who comes into relationship with you is weak, if that soul does not have courage at that time, and you keep giving a dose of teachings, if you have not been able to discern that soul's mood, the time, and the atmosphere, what would the result be? Firstly, he would lose hope. And because he does not have any power, he would not be able to imbibe anything. Instead, he would be in a turmoil of stubbornness and trying to prove himself right. Whatever you did with good intentions, but the reason for a lack of success is the lack of powers of discerning and judging. This is why there is a percentage in becoming an embodiment of success. In action and in relationships throughout the day, there is a need for the power of discernment, is there not? By all means, give teachings, but only take that step after having discerned all that you have been told. Therefore, on the field of service, if you do not discern the other soul's desires and needs, no matter how much clear knowledge you give, no matter how much effort you make on that soul, there will not be success. It has also become a custom to say, Acha, Acha. It is good, it is good, because you do not say anything bad anyway. In order to experience closeness to your aim of having success, the power of discernment is extremely necessary. If someone has a desire to claim liberation and you give him both, that is liberation and liberation in life, he will not have that much interest. You can give 36 varieties of food to someone who's thirsty, but he will not be satisfied with but he will be satisfied with just a drop of water, not with the food. So, if you discern those who have a desire for liberation and give them clarification about liberation, then their desire will increase and it might even change into liberation in life. Some like to listen to things of dharana. If you start telling them about the duration of the cycle, being 5,000 years, or about the God of the Gita, their interest will end. Therefore, the basis of success and service is the need to discern the stage and interest of the soul. It is necessary to discern this. So, on the basis of which power is there success and service? You need the power to discern. Whether you are serving souls without this knowledge or your service companions, the basis of success in serving both is the same. So, first of all, increase the power to discern the speciality of a holy swan. If your power to discern is accurate and elevated, the decision will also be accurate. And whatever you wish to give anyone, that soul will automatically have the power to imbibe it. So, what will you become? A number one embodiment of success. So, whether in service or in relationships, in order to achieve your aim, adapt these characteristics. Check throughout the day to what extent was the power of discernment accurate in the timetable of the whole day, and where was there a need for correction and addition. After doing that, there definitely is automatic correction because everyone has definitely received the blessing of a divine intellect. If you are under the influence of any circumstance or situation, according to the time, under the influence of the company of any soul, or under the influence of the dictate of your own mind due to Maya, you are at that time under many external influences. However, when the influences of the time, circumstances, company, or the dictate of the mind become light, the divine intellect then does its own work. You people call this becoming aware after having had feelings filled with force. Then there is the feeling that you should have done this correction or addition or that you have to do it. Okay, There is no mark in the register or the account book of karma, but there is a spot, a dot. It is no longer completely clean, is it? This is why it is said that the philosophy of action is extremely deep. You teachers know the wonderful game of karma very well, do you not? What song does teachers sing throughout the day? You sing the song, Bah, the wonder of my elevated karma. It is not the song of the deep philosophy of karma. It is the wonder of elevated karma. There, people of the world repent their every action at every step, saying, high karma, suffering of action. And what will you say? Vah, the elevated karma. Now, simply move forward in this and let it constantly be Vah, the elevated karma, not ordinary action. You have stopped repenting for actions, but you now have to underline performing elevated actions. If there are mixed actions, ordinary as well as elevated, then the success is also mixed. The special attention you now have to pay is to transform the ordinary into something special. We will continue from the next sentence tomorrow. For now, let's take a pause and reflect on the deep philosophy of what it means to be a holy swan. What is the depth of the two powers? That's power to discern and power to decision making. And what Baba has deep dived today in explaining the entire process of how to serve by using these two powers. So let's take a few moments of reflection and then we come back and share our takeaways from today's Murli. And share our takeaways from today's Baba's verses. In unmute and share.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Yeah, go ahead, Vinod bhai.
Okay, thank you, Maestri. We have come to now recognize our own self, the Baba, the Drama, and the Brahmin family. So, by this knowledge, that's how we have come to know a deeper science of all of these four subjects, through which we develop a sense of discernment, which Baba says should be used in different places to help a soul flourish. Identify what it wants uh, to make it happy. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Yeah, Baba spoke about recognizing the pulse of the soul. And a reflection further is it's not a pulse of this just about the soul, but pulse about the situation, pulse about what's happening around while we're doing service. And then he gave a couple of practical examples while serving.
Yeah, Om Shanti. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yes, Baba says that the success is depends on one main power, that is the discernment. So, actually, Baba talked about two main powers. One is a recognition, that is to discern, and then second is the decision making, judgment. And so there, the discernment is something that I feel is very important when it comes to the field of service. So so Baba says we should understand the stage of the soul, which stage that soul is, and what their need is, and need in the sense what they want, right? Love, knowledge, or whatever, and what they have come for, and then the timing is also important, because if they are not in the right time to take this knowledge, that also we need to discern whether, if the timing is not good, then also it won't help. And then their mood, atmosphere, both are equally important. So with that, if we give that understanding and then give that knowledge, then Baba says there will be success. So otherwise, even if you have good intention to give them the knowledge, it doesn't work. Okay. So it doesn't reach their intellect or doesn't reach their heart. So, so Baba emphasized on this power to understand, power to discern. And that's one of the main specialty in the field of service for gaining success. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Baba fills up we the soul by telling that you already have this power of discernment. We started the Murli by saying that because had you not had the power of discernment, you would have not recognized Baba and the knowledge in the entire Brahmin space. So now look
Yeah.
it a little more sharp and pick up the pulse and be there. And what I was getting was at times we Brahmin souls get into the arrogance of, oh, I'm a Brahmin soul. I have got so much of knowledge. I'm supposed to say this. And if we look at it, we overdo the service bit of it.
Mm.
And what I'm getting here is just be in that moment, observe the things, what's happening around before even we speak. So, as Lord Many Senior Soul says, that this is the time to do service through your stage because there is no capacity or there is no readiness of souls to listen a long space of knowledge. And therefore, this one beautiful way of doing service that we have seen with which works for with youngsters is just giving them an experience of 2 minutes meditation. So this is just something which came to me while we were talking about how to see the pulse and also catching ourselves and transforming ourselves as souls. That let's have the space of being an instrument and have that space of humbleness while we are on the ground of service. Or even otherwise, even when we are in the space of silence and managing our state, can we emit that unlimited love and humbleness through us? That's the time to practice.
Shanti, people.
Om Shanti.
Indeed, yesterday, when Baba just touched upon and gave us the title of the Holy Swan, and then it was a beautiful meditation the sister took us through when all of us became holy swans and with the master swan. But today, when this picture which Baba has given, he says only three things. And it's so, and that is the heart of the Gyan. Recognize, adopt, imbibe. And what a nice picture he has given Jagadamba on the swan. I think that was a good visualization I was having. And I'm a small swan next to her. I'm just trying to look up to her to see how does she play the veena? How does she imbibe this, recognizing, adopting and imbibing? In fact, we can speak volumes. I'm not sure about Mama's, the recognizing part about how she got to recognize Baba, but the imbibing part, how she imbibed virtues and how she discerned it, that was a very good picture I like, especially here Baba just says of three things: recognizing, that's the basic, recognizing the self, recognizing God. Because without that, how can we recognize souls? How can we pick souls? How can we see their specialities? How can we discern? I liked this part of the Holy Swan, and I don't know, I have not seen, even though it is said the Holy Swan only picks up pearls, no pebbles. I would really like to study that to know what is that quality the Holy Swan has in it that so clearly from that water it's able to pick up only pearls. So that's the, I think the deeper and deeper we go into that swan, with of course, I think the visualization of Ma Saraswati, I like it. It is one thing where Baba speaks about why are we not able to discern, why we are not able to give the cooperation which is needed. Why? Because the I comes there. We would like to cooperate in our own way. We would like to cooperate in our own method. Then the more illness it'll be. And the third thing I liked it when Baba shifts from patient to patience. Baba always plays with this word. So that and the part to discern. Both, if you see, we can see the process. So who is a patient? And what is patience? If you just try to throw a flow chart from a patient to a patience, and where Baba speaks about patient means a weak body, somebody he he's not able to react, he's not able to hold. And what happens in that case? Silence. So it's a beautiful thing, I think, if you read the Murli, because it's so important for us. Otherwise, we would lose hope. We would not have any power. We'll not be able to imbibe anything. We would become stubborn. There's a lot of such stuff in the Murli, I think. I will just wait for your team always picks up the key points And you'll put it in the Murli before you give the quiz. I think I would wait for that opportunity to once more go through what was the main thing in it. Om Shanti.
Yeah. Yes, Krishabin, thanks for bringing the entire flow chart of the Murli today. And if we actually underline the word patient and patience, Baba speaks here. If you look at the literal meaning of patience, it's quite different. But when Baba rhymes this, he is telling that a small little thing of the power of discernment is not practiced by the doctor to diagnose the disease. Ultimately, the patient will lose his life. And that's what Baba is bringing attention to, that if you do not pick up the right pulse, instead of doing service, you will do disservice. And this was reminding me about an Ayurvedic doctor. Ayurveda practices the entire medicine through only checking pulse. So they will hold your hand, read the pulse, and then decide what is your body type, and then accordingly give the medicines. Similarly, when we are in connections, relationships, and as I shared before also, uh, connecting with the situation and then look at what is to be provided and make myself available accordingly is when I'm doing the service. And Baba very simply has put across, if somebody who's thirsty and you offer the person 36 varieties of food, that's going to be completely not serving that person at all, because for him, one drop of water is maybe 36,000 times more important than this 36 variety of food. So, a very deep way of connecting in a relationship is what Baba has brought it across here. And what I feel is, how do one look at connecting with pulse? The practice that works for me is when you do not understand what the soul needs, just to observe, reflect, and give yourself that moment of connection with the Almighty, and He will guide you as to what's been required. At times, one need not even have to get into physical action or do anything on the ground, but just be in silence and emit your thoughts and just stay in the space of purity.
Kiben, you were mentioning something about just checking the pulse, and even I think, if I'm not wrong, the first brother Vinod spoke. Actually, that's so important in service. Even though Baba has told us, go to the cell, go to the drama, we have lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, the 7 days course or whatever it is. But here in this Murli, Baba is saying, because I remember when I took the Gyan and all, I was bored with the self and all, because I had a lot of knowledge from the Gita, the Upanishads and all. My pulse didn't, I was just waiting. They said only 3 days, if not 7. I was waiting for the third day to get over. And what I needed at that time was the truth, God. That never came. That came only on the third day. That was the time that I got pulled up. So that pulse, even, it's very difficult. It's not easy. How does the person who's giving course know, even though they ask them to write, what are you interested in? What are you on? I don't think it's easy to know. We have to go through, and maybe somewhere Baba will strike the thing. So checking the pulse, when you said, it's a very, very difficult. Even Baba himself, what does he do and check and pick? I don't know. But why I'm sharing this, I don't know if you have heard, In Baba has always said in the final moments, the sannyasis will be lifted. And I think you would have heard about what happened in Om Shanti Retreat Center very recently. A small child, I don't know, 9 or 11 years old, comes to the stage and gives the gyan to the sannyasis and how they were just taken up. I mean, it's different. You must actually play that Om Shanti Retreat Center. I think it was a couple of days back. I couldn't get hold of the own, but this is what is going to happen. That child didn't know the pulse of the sannyasis. So, what I feel when you are giving service, if you don't look at what you want to give, what I've prepared and come. Don't do all that. Don't wait for, oh, I've prepared this, I've learned this, I've studied this, and I'm going to let out all that in the form of lecture. No. But I think if just Baba at that moment is imbibed, maybe we will directly go even to day 4. So there even again, it depends that connection with saying, Baba, see, I don't want to waste my time. I know I'm not a very good lecturer. I'm not good Shivani Ben or something. So give me something so that I can hit that person even with one. I think this checking pulse, what you were talking, it's changing. It's changing a lot, especially after listening to that child in Om Shanti Retreat Center. So I just thought if you could share even something about this checking pulse, what we should do, because that's so important now in this final moment. What are you going to tell people about? See, the world is destruction. They'll throw you out. They'll say, we know all this. Iran war is coming, this war is coming, the world is going to end. It's like as if Brahma Kumaris are basking when the whole world is fighting. So if you can just give, like, for the benefit of all of us, just throw something. What should you do now in checking pulse, and a request to all to really listen to that Om Shanti Retreat Center, that child. Thank you.
Will anybody like to share their reflections on this or their thoughts on this before I speak on this? What's that work for you?
Yeah, Om Shanti. I will
Hmm.
say that I think from that Om Shanti Bhavan, the child shared the knowledge that was really wonderful. I saw it in YouTube. It is there. It was good to watch. It was quite entertaining. So I think so this method, they used it as because that child is a very small child, and also when child does something, everybody pay attention to it, especially in a this sort of a crowd. So that was, I think, just to make that show more entertaining, and also the child was very special child, and uh, and of course, just to show even a small child can demonstrate this powerful knowledge. I think that was the reason why they made it. And understanding the pulse is again, I think it's really a tough task because, see, in our center, just talking about from my experience, because when we take courses, right, so we do it for a batch. So sometimes it's really difficult to understand who comes for what. Okay, some would come for love, some would come for some sort of a support because they might be going through some family issue, or some even come for experiencing silence. They might be so much disturbed with the world outside, the noisy world, and they would want to come in and then experience some silence. And there would be some people who would come for knowledge. So they might be practicing some of the other knowledge, and they would come to learn the knowledge. Okay, and similarly, some would come for experiencing meditation. But when we give this course for a group of people, to understanding each one's requirement, recognizing and then giving it accordingly, according to their need, is always a challenge. I guess it works when we are giving it to a person, particular person. And when we are able to, and how can we really check the pulses? I think that is something one has to, practice and then get that knowledge. See, understanding what they need is, yes, when we start behaving, interacting with them, they start, while talking, they will say, or we should recognize, right, what they want. And that will be there in their words. Our job is to, just like Baba says, recognize, power to discern. Yes, with practice, I think it will come. But in reality, I feel checking pulse, um, when we are giving it to a group is always a challenge. Yeah, Om
Yeah,
Shanti.
I agree that while giving to the group is a challenge, maybe one thing that can be done is while we give the lessons, we always can invite each soul or invest some time with each of these souls separately, one to one. And I agree that even practically, whether it's going to be also in corporate world, getting into a group training um, is not that effective compared to one kind of a thing, because each soul is going through their own challenges. Yeah, I agree to it. However, one thing which, um, as I mentioned earlier also, which works is today people want the experience. People have got enough of knowledge. Even if you look at Raj Yoga courses, there are so many different courses of Raj Yoga available on YouTube. So, because of the presence of media, a lot of knowledge is already there across on social media. What's required is giving that experience and that kind of belonging to people, that they feel that it's for them. What is missing in today's world is having that connection, that there is someone that I can connect with. So, can I be that instrument, that Baba's instrument, that can give that experience to people, that I'm here for them, and whatever I'm doing is an instrument to Almighty of Almighty. Could be one way to look at it in working towards knowing the pulse. So that would be something which I would like to share, and I'm sure it will be each one's own experience on getting the pulse, and also how much am I interested in doing that, or I'm only getting into that space of because everybody's doing, I also need to do. Not necessarily that I need to go and give knowledge. There are different ways of uh, doing service.
Yeah, I think most of the time, we will, uh, we are busy giving the knowledge because, in the sense, why? Because we prepare something, and then when the class start, we'll be in a hurry to give what we have learned or what we have practiced, rather than understanding the pulse. Right? That is what I think. I'm just talking from my experience. So maybe we have to grow. I have to grow to a stage understanding the pulse, just like understand. Baba said whether the soul has come for water or food.
Yeah,
So that makes, and also giving the right dose, right time, right method. Everything is it would play a vital role. Okay,
yeah.
Shanti, thank you.
So it's actually playing or practicing, being interested, then being making myself interesting. Nobody's interested in knowing how much interesting you are. How much I have interest in you is more important for you than how interesting I am. You know? So be interested in that soul's upliftment. Be one way to know what's required. Krijaban, does that answers your question?
As we are just, I think this is the PhD part of the code thing. This is a very, I can't say how many people I have given Gyan, how many people, like, I have often shared with you, Raki Ban, in the days of COVID, I wanted to really do something about it, I remember. And that time also I had a major surgery. So that time what I did, I took the whole course, everything from Jayanti Ben, from Ken, Modern, everything I took and the Gyan, and I made 55 audio recordings of it. And now, believe me or not, somewhere or other, I just send across that. I just ask them, probably, the language which you speak and the voice which you speak when it's an audio, maybe it attracts. I tried to do that, but I found, I couldn't, what to say, create an क्या बोलना है, impact. It's just like I found I just distributed some pamphlets to people for just saying yehi cheese hai. I know for what I did, I have just done the beginning, but still, but I think we shouldn't worry, as that brother was saying, and even as you said, am I going there just to fill up the place? I'm just going there to vomit out what I've planned. All that and all is going to fail anymore. What's my intention? And whatever you do, it's that man who has to come down. Shiv Baba has to come down. He was the one who pulled Brahma from those gurus and he brought him here. He knows. But at least the beginning you have to do, because you have to create your status, your prapti. If Shiv Baba wants, he can open everyone's brain and he can put the knowledge. It's not a big stuff for him. But he wants you to create a status. So, yeah, sort of. But I was just thinking, तो अब तक मैंने क्या किया? What did I do? I mean to. So there's much more to learn. That's why I said we are just in the PhD part of the course. But that child, the way I think Baba is starting new, the sannyasis, you must listen to that, as Bijit Bhai said. You'll think, oh, what is it? But something somewhere there, Baba's intention was clear. So it still goes on. See, we are not going to open the doors. He has to do. So he will create us. But I should be ready with honest heart, with all my powers to say, here, Baba, I'm ready. Just feed me. So I think it's a process. It'll go on.
So let's move on to a short meditation. But before that, Bijit Bhai, can you just share
Yeah,
the
just a
flyer?
minute.
Yeah.
So this Sunday we have a special masterclass coming up on the topic of courage in confluence age by BK sister Usha Didi, who's a Rajyoga teacher, senior Rajyoga teacher from Durban, South Africa. So this flyer will be shared in the WhatsApp group. So you may share it with other groups and will attend this session and then take complete benefit of the session. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Rakipen.
Let's take a moment. Bijit Bhai, I've just shared a piece of music with you. Can we just uh, share the music?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
Yeah. Let's take this moment to reflect on what Baba has told us today in the Murli and check for our own self how much I have reached towards being an holy swan, especially focusing on these two powers of power of discernment and power of decision making.